So that ain't no pressure at all. So I just wanted to put it in perspective, respect my homies that's involved, you understand? And when certain things come up, Ross don't address that. And that's what I'm gonna respect, you know what I mean?
Is that picture Rick Ross?
Yeah, that picture was Rick Ross.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a real beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, and what people gotta know, the truth is far more sensitive.
It's been a while, but it's we're back, I guess. Is that safe to say?
We're back off, as Birdman would say, hiatus.
And the thing that's funny is that the last time that we said...
I used this joke before. Yeah, I use this joke anytime I go on a hiatus.
The last time we did the show, you said we're back from a hiatus. And now it's been, I think, since August.
Man, that's a long fucking time. Goddamn.
But you are back listening to the RNC Radio podcast. Yes, that is right. You're not dreaming. It actually did happen a month later than it was supposed to happen, but it happened anyway. We got here regardless. I'm your host, Justin Davis. I'm here with the one, the only, the latest and greatest, Josh Pease.
Josh Pease, a.k.a. never on schedule, but always on time.
Josh Pease, around the world, Josh Pease.
Man, yeah, I have been around the world. Oh, parts of the world.
Parts of the world. Like
I went to a place I thought I'd never go in my life.
What's that?
Shout out to hip hop and music. I went to Cuba.
Cuba, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Cuba was amazing. It was dope, but I just never thought I never even thought about going to Cuba.
Yeah.
So actually being there was just like, it's different. It was
What's the vibe like out there? It's not. Are they like happy still? Or it's like,
oh
shit.
They're happy as shit. They're having the time of their lives. Like it's crazy. Me and I went out there with an artist we working with, Masego.
Yeah. Shout out to Masego.
Shout out to Masego, VA in the house. But we were talking, and he was just like, yeah, it's amazing how happy and connected people are there without having connection and Wi-Fi and all that stuff. Like,
there's no Wi-Fi there.
I mean, it's like 1% of the country has Wi-Fi.
Shit.
And literally they introduced it in December.
Wow.
So it's like diplomats and then a few selected high-ranking rich officials have Wi-Fi.
So, going out there, like the food, crazy.
Food is amazing. It's funny though. There's some complications with that even. Like a lot of the nicer restaurants, the food is great. Like it's Cuban food, you know what it is.
Yeah.
But then like a lot of the just like mid-tier and below restaurants, like all their food is basically imported.
Yeah.
And it's all imported by the government, of course. The government runs like everything. Like anything going on, the government wants in.
Yeah. It's
5, 10, 15%, whatever it is. I don't know. Like, but they're just like, they running that shit like some straight up mafia mob shit. So with the food situation, all the food's imported. So it's like not too much fresh food for like a lot of the mid-tier restaurants. So like that's where the food can get a little tricky, but like it's like they're importing like shrimp and like fucking pineapples and things that you would think they would have, but it's like they just don't.
So it's an area that's under like massive rebuilding.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny even like on the rebuilding tip, like it's like I saw so many buildings half built just because like they don't have like a Home Depot or like a Lowe's out there, so like a lot of the supplies they have to import in, and that takes a while. So it's just like it's a process of going through that.
Yeah.
So it was dope. It's a developing country, super good vibes though, dope people, dope music. Like I really had a good time there.
Yeah, I mean, what a great way to open the show with a new experience, and obviously it has been a while since we have done this show. I think really more than anything to explain why life happened, I guess, like for both of us. We both we took gigs at different places, and I think I've had a conversation with Josh, like, what are we going to do with this? Like, we were never going to shut it down, but I think it was more like, how are we going to do this show?
Yeah, it's just about finding like a real direction for it.
Yeah.
I think just before, like, it was a little more free form and free flowing.
Yeah.
And that's always good, and that's a good way to kind of like, inform the guest and kind of get, get information out there. But I think my goal coming into this was more of an education process.
Yeah.
So I think just the new direction we're taking with the format of the show and just everything we're doing now feels a little more educational for me. So I'm glad to be back. I'm looking forward to the conversations we have. And I'm looking forward to, the fans and what they hear and what nuggets they pick up and what they're feeling. So
they've been waiting.
Send your hate mail my way, please.
Yeah. I get comments all the time. And I mean, you know, some of it goes to me too. I mean, obviously I do so many shows on the RNC Radio banner. We've done so much stuff.
Yeah, you're Stephen A. Smith of RNC.
I never sleep. But you know, again, it's like there have been times it's like me and Josh saw Us the other week, and we were supposed to record the next day, but I had a flu that day and I couldn't do it anyway. It's like life just happened. We were both in very lucrative, flourishing gigs, so to speak, which
very
has
lucrative over here.
Yeah,
I like that word.
Which has caused us to, you know, kind of change the format in a good way. So what you can expect from the RNC Radio podcast, and we finally got it down, is just really us taking nuggets and things from really the past and the present and the future, and kind of informing them to how the world is today, whether it be music, culture, communication, everything. So it's like we're using music to inform our guests about everything. So like this episode today, we're going to talk about a guy that really overcame it all. And really like one of the craziest stories ever. And it's like, you know, and the one thing I you know, we both agreed on, it's like, we don't want to take a negative route for a lot of the stuff. I listened back to a lot of the other shows we did, and it was a lot of like, how is this person going to make it? And how long are they going to be there?
6ix9ine, free 6ix9ine. I was championing you on this show, man. Fuck.
But we can't really do that anymore. And Problematic Peas is here. Problematic Peas is here. Man. But one thing you can expect, we still have the Boss Nigga discount.
Man.
It's still here. Cha-ching! I'm gonna play it right there at this mark. Boss Nigga discount. Hit the fucking button. Yeah. We still have all that going. We're still gonna have the funniest sides and all that stuff. But I think more than anything, we always wanted this to tell a story and to tell our story. And I think this is what we're gonna continue to do. Before we get into that, a lot of stuff has happened since. Man. I mean, you just mentioned 6ix9ine.
I think the most important thing that's happened between our last show is just the passing of Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, I was gonna get right to that.
I think that's such a blow to you know, the hip hop community, and even larger than that, the black community.
Right.
I think just in Los Angeles, he was doing so much to help people and change his environment and change the perception of his environment. And, you know, that's a sad situation, man. I think about that guy every single day.
Now, where were you when you heard about it? I think it was just the thing about to me was that it was just such a random ass day. Yeah. It was like the day before April Fool's. So if if it had happened on that day, we would have been like, shut the fuck up. You know? Like people were already saying like, shut the fuck up. So I think somebody even tweeted like, it's the day before April Fool's Day. Like they're just getting the jokes off early.
Yeah, it's crazy. I found out from my sister. My sister actually called me.
Yeah.
And it was like a Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday. And she called me. She's like, "Yo, Nipsey Hussle just got shot." And this is before the news that even came out that he had passed away. She's like, "Nipsey just got shot. Like, you know, did you hear about this?" And like, it's funny. I just instantly felt it. I was like, man, like I just had a terrible feeling from when she said that. Mm-hmm. And then as you know, as things progress, you know, you find out that he passed or he's going to the emergency room and all this type of stuff. And it was just, I don't know, like it was a weird energy, and it's been a weird energy in Los Angeles since. Like,
what do you mean by that?
It's a different feeling in the air, you know. Like you kind of have I wouldn't say justice. You know, the guy's arrested. We know who did it. It was on camera.
It happened quick too.
Yeah,
2 days.
Which thank the Lord, because if it was a mystery, it would be a lot of violence and tribulations and things in the streets. So I'm glad that they kind of got to the bottom of it fast. But it's just been a weird energy in the city, and it's just disheartening for real. Like that was one of the first times I ever felt like, yo, like fuck LA. Yeah. And like me, if you know me, I never say that. I love Los Angeles, so I'll never leave. But I just was like, yo, I can't take it. Like to take one of your own, like in your own hood, like where you grew up at and came back and rebuilt. That's a sad story, but it's like, you know, that's a story of a legend for real. Because like, you know, where he banged is where he died, and it's like it showed the progression of a man who was doing dirt on that block and ended up doing good on that block. Yeah,
it was in a weird way like full circle.
It literally like full circle, literally. Yeah. So it's just, it sucks. It really, really sucks. Like that's something I think about daily. That's something that hurts me daily. Something that I'm just like, I don't know. It's damn near you feel almost ashamed to be from LA. Like I remember that happened the day before I went to Cuba. Yeah. And people in Cuba were asking me about it. And it's like to know that his legacy traveled that far, and for people to be like, I wouldn't even call it ignorance, but they're just like what happened? Like they want to know, and this is like to tell that story or even to shed light on that story. It's embarrassing. Yeah. It's embarrassing as someone from Los Angeles.
Just the reasoning.
Yeah.
Alone. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right.
It was senseless. I think a lot of people were at that moment saying, why, like you said, why? And I even said it that day. I was like, bro, like there's no words to even explain this shit because you couldn't make sense of it even if you tried. It's just senseless bullshit. And I mean, if there is a silver lining that we tried to, that I continuously try to get through to this is that this man's impact was global, more global than we thought. Even with people who didn't know his music, they knew the person. And, there were things that came out. There were people that came out that knew him and had stories, like just random people that had met him before. And, it really speaks volumes to I think it was a saying like your footsteps are known before you walk through the door or something like that. Like people know you before you even walk through that door. And I think a lot of people now look at it like I want to strive to be at that level where I get that respect. Yeah. And I think that's really something that a lot of people can aspire to be. It was like, that man he passed at 33 and I turned 32 a week later. Yeah, like that shit hit me. I was like, man, he made it for all intents and purposes. Yeah. Like when you're black and you make it past 18, it's like, oh shit, you did it. You make it past 21, you're like, all right, you're Teflon. You make it to 30, bro, like you nothing can touch you. Yeah. And it makes all of us feel mortal in a way. It's crazy. Yeah.
And I mean, he rapped about it on his last single, and he was talking about his friend that had passed, but it's like,
it's an eerie line too.
Yeah, like that's a real feeling growing up in Los Angeles in those type of circumstances. Yep. And it's just like you said, like Nipsey making it so far and doing as much as he did for the community, like you really looked up to him and you really looked up to just the moves he made. And it's funny, like I think not even funny, but just like I that's why I love LA and I love the West Coast, because like one thing's for sure, like we gave Nipsey his flowers while he was here. Yeah. Like we gave him his praise. Like he was a neighborhood hero. Like he was a local celebrity if there is one. Like you seeing him out like at Simply Wholesome, he's in his fandom. Like you see him at Simply Wholesome in the Bentley, like, yo, what's up, Nip? Like he chopping it up, talking to you, like, so it's just like that's the type of guy he was, and like, and he got that love back from everyone in the streets. Mm-hmm. Like Nipsey could go from the projects and Watts to Hollywood, and he would get the same respect everywhere, no matter his his gangbang affiliation or his business affiliation. So like, I think that's one thing I am not happy about, but just like it's a good thing that we really like gave him his flowers while he was here. Because even after the fact, like I went to the funeral procession, and I had never seen anything like that in my life.
I've never seen it either.
Like literally, I don't think I ever will see anything like that in my life. Like I remember I went to the funeral home on Crenshaw on 39th, and I remember being at that same spot when Obama was elected. Mm-hmm. And, like, the energy was crazy. Everyone was just out in the streets, like, joyous. And, like, it had that same energy, although this was, like, a negative passing. But it was that same energy and that same love in the air more than anything. I seen people from different hoods, like, not beefing or funking, like, because they're just like, yo, like, we here for, something bigger than us. Mm-hmm. Something bigger than what we stand for. So, like, I'm proud of LA for that. R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle, you're definitely a legend. You're someone who was greatly respected out here, and your legacy will for sure live on.
Had you met him before?
Yeah, it's funny, just coming up in the L.A. rap scene, just managing Casey. Like, Nipsey was somebody that was like a brother in this, like, coming up in that whole blog era and just coming up and just...
He was one of the first, honestly.
Like, just like in that whole, like, rap scene period, like, you kind of had, like, you had, like, Casey, Nipsey, Dom, Kendrick and TDE, like you and I, Pac Div, like these is all my brothers who were coming up at the same time, and like we all had the same goal. Mm-hmm. So just different shows and things like that. But that's the thing about Nipsey, his energy was so. First of all, Nipsey coming out the gate, like I'll never forget the first song I heard from him. It was RNC for Life, where he did over the SUC for Life, Lil Kiki joint. Yeah. And just to hear a gang-banging rapper from LA rapping over a Southern song,
that's
was
what
like,
I loved about him.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, this nigga, he a real hip hop nigga. Yeah. Like he know what's up. Like he really got bars. He really rapping over this shit like in a real dope way. But he banging his hood. He said, I'm from RSC. Like seeing that video, like I'm from Inglewood, which is like a rival hood almost. I'm not from Inglewood families, but I'm from Inglewood, which is a blood hood. Like, but hearing him rap some Crip shit like that, like at the time, like, oh shit, like it made me proud to be from LA. Like I'm like, oh shit, like it's somebody from LA that's gonna take our sound beyond lowriders and cocaine on the hook and that type of shit.
His shit never sounded West to me. Like even on the album, I was like, there's certain shit that like last time that I checked sounds West. Yeah. But some of his biggest joints from that was like it sounded like it could have come from the East Coast, from the South, but he never set himself to one sound, and that's something I always respected about him. He always worked with he worked with Ross.
Exactly.
With,
like
people outside of that.
He was just of hip hop. Like when you listen to like a Meek Mill, you're like, oh, that's not a Philly rapper. It's just that's a rap artist. Yeah. Like so, it was like that's the kind of energy that I got from Nip, and like instantly just coming on the scene, I was like, oh, like I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. So like I'm managing my artist, but like and we dealing doing business together. But I'm like, yo, I'm a fan. Like and I never was hesitant to tell him that. And that's one thing that, like, not even I wouldn't say we bonded over, but, like, we just always had a cool relationship because, like, I always showed him love. He always showed me love. Like, I think one of the things we always used to talk about is books. Like, the last time I actually saw him randomly was at, like, Whole Foods. And, like, just bumped into him. And, like, I hadn't seen him in a little bit. We exchanged numbers. He, like, first question he asked me was, like, oh, what book you reading? And I think at the time I was reading A Brief History of Seven Killings about, like, Jamaica and, like, the Bob Marley killing and all that stuff. So it was just, like, he was like, oh, shit. Like, I heard about that. Like, so just the type of conversations you had with him was just different. Yeah. And, like, I just, like, that was someone I really, like, looked up to. Yeah. Business-wise, like, even just, like, personal life. Like, he wifed up Nunu. Like, like, what hood nigga didn't have that dream? So it's just, like, the way he just moved was just always so smooth and just, it was something to aspire to. So, that was someone I knew. That's someone I would definitely call a friend, someone I definitely miss. And just, like, I think that, is, it's tragic. It really is. It is.
Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Yeah. We got to get that out the way. But one thing I did want to ask you about, Josh, because you said you were going to have an opinion on this later on, and I never even got to ask you. We did see Us a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about it now, a month removed?
Nah, it's funny. I want to go see it again. I haven't seen it again. I want to go see it again. Oh yeah, I need to go check it out again. I liked it, man. Like I think Jordan Peele's in his bag. I was never a fan of Jordan Peele until the first film, Get Out.
Yeah, and we've had conversations about Jordan Peele. Like, what was your opinion of Jordan Peele before?
Oh, cornball brother, without a doubt. And, I mean, but honestly. And that's something I've come to realize in my older age. You need people like him. Yeah. Like, I appreciate his artistry, and I appreciate, even before Get Out, like, now I've kind of, like, not even that I doubled back and went to, like, did my history on him, but, like, that's how, like, of much of a cornball he was. I didn't even correlate him to Mad TV. And that was, like, one of my favorite shows. Like,
I didn't even remember him from Mad TV.
Yeah, I don't remember him. I remember the face, kind of, sort of. Yeah. And I remember, what was the other dude?
Phil Lamar?
Nah, it was Key and Peele. So
Keegan Michael Key or something like that.
Whatever. I remember his face more than I remember Jordan Peele's face. So like I kind of remembered him from Mad TV, and that was my shit. Like everybody's watching Saturday Night Live, I was watching Mad TV
because Mad TV came on 30 minutes earlier.
And it was just like it was the black version of SNL. Like they had the black jokes. Like I remember all that shit. He looking like a man, like Chinese. Like bro, you understand?
You can't run the he looking like a man shit back in 2019.
It sucks, but that was my shit when I was younger, bro. I remember all those jokes.
They had the Toy Story skit with the sex toys. That was the one that set it off for me. I was like, yo, this is the wildest show I've ever seen in my life.
Bro, I remember all that shit. So it's just like, so just to see how far he came from that and to pivot to this serious, like, horror movie, like...
He only wants to do horror movies.
Which is dope as fucking itself. Yeah, he only wants to do horror. I love a good, like, when someone has a theme and a concept and they keep that shit going. And, like, I enjoyed the movie. I like the different layers to it. I like the nods to, like, older horror movies because that's just, like... I feel like that's a real cinematic movie thing to do. Now back to older movies. He's like definitely especially paying as a black homage. Man. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like as a black man, he's paying homage. He's not just coming in here and like just setting his tone and being like, yo, this is some nigga shit now. Horror movie. It's funny though, like he's literally kicked down the door because like I watched on Netflix the other day the movie, horrible title, Thriller.
Oh yes,
great film. I'm not.
That's such an LA movie too.
It was so good. I was like, yo, and it's good in that way. It's like you're like, oh, okay, this is a little corny, but it's like, yo, it's a horror movie. It's gonna be a little corny. Like shit was pretty good. I can't front.
And if you haven't seen Thriller, I saw it last weekend. It is a movie that primarily takes place in Compton, RZA plays the principal.
Bruh, so good.
With a New York accent.
And you know what's funny though? It's like the RZA plays the principal. It's like 4 of the kids from The Wire in it. Like it's the casting is. I mean, it's good casting. Don't get me wrong. And I think the characters are like. The characters remind me of people I've just grown up with.
Yeah.
Like you had the light skinned kid that had a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Like I always say that. Like light skinned niggas be having something to prove. Like you had that kid in there. You had the chick with the had a little money, had the little convertible.
The Spanish chick.
Yeah, you had the different layers.
Her, man. I'm like, why did Spanish chick gotta be the cheater, bro?
Hey man, I think nigga has a game though. He was on it.
And the thing that's funny about that is that like with black people, we have like so much influence on social media, so like I wouldn't have known about this movie unless I saw a tweet about it. Oh
shit, okay.
So I saw the tweet and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? I go on.
I think I saw your tweet and that's what made me go see it.
Yeah, and I didn't give it like a favorable review, but I did like the movie. Like
it was cool.
I thought that it had a really good idea.
Yeah,
and I thought the story was cool. I thought the story was actually cool, where it's like you have this killer that essentially was fucked over, and they think that it's this, and like these kids have to deal with because like the kids are. I think my worst part is that the kids at one point are so unlikable that I just wanted to see all of them die. Like even like the main girl is terrible. Like they're all terrible people, but like that is a good example of like he kicked down the door for movies like that to exist because we haven't had like a good hood movie.
Man, you know what? And I'm glad you touched on that because that movie had references and nods to classic hood movies. There's a couple Friday lines in there. There's a couple like. It was a couple different lines. I was like, oh, okay, that's a nod back to that.
And it's such a LA movie. Like I love like now living here, it's like you don't ever get anything better than having a fucking LA movie. Yeah, and that takes place right there in Compton. I think they actually did shoot on location at Compton High.
Yep, shot at Compton High.
So really cool. I think RZA did the music. If you get a chance,
he scored it.
If you want to laugh a little bit, Thriller is definitely your jam. But I know like at the end of Us, you were like, what the fuck did I just watch? So I had to see.
Yeah. No, Us was just like the thing it wasn't even that Us was confusing to me. I definitely got it. Definitely was like, oh shit. It's just Us to me, and that's the brilliance of Jordan Peele. After I see his movies, I want to talk to people. Like I literally want to talk and like be like, yo, like this shit. I want to discuss the movie, and it's like I haven't come across a lot of movies like that lately. Yeah. So I like that feeling. So I think kudos to you, Jordan Peele. Keep doing your thing. Cast me in the next film.
What we've also seen since you and I have been absent is just an influx of really like black podcasting too.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's funny. That's kind of been on the rise for a long time,
but now it's like it's reached its peak. That's why I was like, yo, we gotta come back, my nigga. Like
we're not gonna be left out of this.
Yeah,
fuck you think this
is? Decision. What up, Elliot?
Man,
what's poppin'? I went to Elliot Wilson's birthday a couple months ago.
Oh yeah, how was that? I didn't go. I didn't get an invite, Elliot. So.
Elliot funny, man. He's a funny guy.
Not
I know
making my list again.
That's what I'm saying. Like he made the ain't shit funny list. Oh fuck, the ain't shit funny list came out.
Oh shit, damn, it's been a while. Yeah. That came out. That was Hey, I had Nipsey on the list, and this is why Nipsey is great. You had
Victory Lap on the list.
No, I don't know if I had Victory Lap on the list.
I think it was Victory Lap.
Nah, I had I know I might have Victory Lap on the list because I was getting burned last year, but I actually had the video for Rap Niggas. And I told him that specifically. I'm like, bro, like you are literally the postcard for Los Angeles. Yeah. And like that video was the postcard. Like just the scenes, just like the places he was at, the cars he was in, like that was so LA to me. And like
all the videos from that album. Oh yeah. Were literally like he shot the Status Symbol 3 literally by Staples.
Was that the one when Lauren London was driving?
That was Hustle and Motivate.
Bruh. That shit was so crazy. That scene where she's driving and he's on top of the fucking car. I'm like, yo, that.
Another loss. I mean, I hate to say like another loss, but something else that I'm looking at the list now. Mac Miller did pass in between.
That was another one that literally I think about Mac every single day as well. Yeah, that was another one that like, oh my goodness, that shit rocked my whole soul.
The Woe Dance is on here.
Yeah, man, that was my shit.
Is it still your shit?
You know it's funny. I don't think anybody's ever seen me do the wall, except for my girlfriend, maybe. Because that's a dance I just got to do at home. Like the shoe dance, I do the shoe dance all the time at home. You'll never see it out. I do it all the time. I have to
see this.
You'll never see it.
Josh is like 6'7".
Bro, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at it, but I do it all the time.
If you shoot, your whole damn building is collapsing, dog. You're fucking tall as shit.
This shit be funny, bro. I love this shoot. Shout out to the kid that was fighting 3 dudes and was shooting on the playground the other day. That shit was funny.
You had You had Kodak Black's first time eating Chick-fil-A here.
That was amazing. Kodak Black, you're disappointing me right now, brother. I was championing you, but
get your shit together. Problematic P's, they're all dropping like flies. All your faves. Okay. Hey, how come Surviving R. Kelly isn't on the list?
No comment on R. Kelly, man. I'm gonna say this. I've been wanting to get this out. I meant to tweet this the other day. I cannot wait till Spotify does their little year-end thing, and all these R. Kelly records on everybody's list. What y'all gonna do? Because I know y'all been listening. The streams is up. Everything, the nigga making so much money off of publishing. They was like,
he's not making money.
But they was like, his publishing worth $100 million. It's worth $100 million for a reason. Somebody out there listening, and I know they listen on Spotify.
He's making zero fucking money. They said he got like $2 in his bank account, bro.
That was another question I had. How do they know how much you got in your bank account?
He had to report it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Well, nigga, don't you report that you make lower when you report shit?
Problematic.
Hell yeah, I'll make nothing.
You did have Victory Lap news. You had both names up there, so technically we were both right.
Okay.
You had LMA Boot up there. It was such a great record. Timeless record. LeBron James on here.
Hey, LeBron James is on there before he fucking fucked off the season.
Also got Take Heath on here. Congratulations to him, by the way.
Oh yeah, college graduate. And then it's funny, it's so crazy. I was like, man, I ain't heard Take Keith in a minute. Then he came back with a Beyonce record. He like,
that's where he was.
I'm trying to be rich forever. I was like, oh shit, shit crazy.
There's a couple more things on here.
Shout out to Frankie Beverly too, bro. That niggas don't even know. That's one of my style icons, bro. The white tee with the white hat.
Yeah, oh my swagged God. Out for sure. Coach K and P, shout out to them. Salute to them for their 2018. Who would have? They came up with Cardi. Came up with the whole like Cardi. I mean, really, Cardi and Offset alone.
Straight up black excellence.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
God, like those, like literally, shout out to y'all because y'all paving the way for me.
Detroit rap up there.
Have an amazing year.
I'm just now getting into that.
Hey, I'm telling. It's funny to start with Block Party and just work your way around.
I'm with I started with 42 Doug.
42 Doug is hard. I've been listening to this kid. And I'm tapped into Detroit. I might as well be from there. I'm about to go to Coney Island after we leave here. But nah, 42 Doug is cool. I've been fucking with the little nigga Baby Smooth, my boy John Boy. Man, I love the D.
Tapped in, huh?
I love the D.
Shout out to Cliff, man. Shout out to Cliff Skywalker, man. But that's just a taste of the Ain't Shit Funny list. The ASF list, that's the list that everybody wants to be on. Fuck any of these other lists. That's for the community.
I'm telling you, list. Next year I'm having a straight up award show.
We should have an episode on the list.
Yeah, we should. But I'm literally doing an award show. So like niggas can pull up if they want. I'm giving out awards.
What's it gonna look like?
The golden Ain't Shit Funny. I don't even know what it's going to look like.
It's going to be the fucking golden Piper mask, you problematic motherfucker.
It might just be a golden pack of backwoods.
Oh, my God. But let's get into this episode's topic. This is the Deeper Than Rap episode. The anniversary of Deeper Than Rap was last Sunday. This was Ross's third album after Trilla dropped in 2009. It's 10 years old. This year, man, 10 years old. This was a album where Ross had released 2 albums before that, Port of Miami and Trilla, which like they weren't critical or like sales darlings, but they created a mystique around the Rick Ross character. At that point, we knew him as the boss. Like that was all we knew. He was at that point, like it was like that's really all we, it was surface level. Like there was nothing else that we needed to know. All we know is that he gets money, he has chains, he has cars, he's the boss. That's all he ever wanted us to know. So like. What were your thoughts on Ross, like your first time hearing him?
Man, like I'm trying to think the first record I heard from Ross.
I heard Hustling coming out of a homecoming concert.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it's crazy that you mentioned Hustling because like I'm a Ross fan. Like,
I love Ross.
Literally high school, like I had a Hustling fucking poster in my room, like. So it's like I remember Hustling. That was just like a big fucking record for me, like just. And I remember when Jay-Z jumped on the remix. I'm like, oh shit, Jay-Z stamping it? Like that was my favorite rapper. That's my favorite rapper ever.
He had garnered so many important partnerships and cosigns that like back in the day, we didn't think of a cosign, like as we were younger, we didn't think of a cosign as like this important, but nowadays in rap, it's like a cosign so fucking important. Yeah. But Ross is one of the guys that kind of ushered in the essence of like, I need to have a big cosign. Yeah. And he had the biggest one in the fucking game.
And he gave big cosigns too, if you look at just his career and just what happened after, his
even albums. With like MMG.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, Meek Mill, Wale, even like Peel and Rocky Fresh. Like, he brought these guys to light and shined some light on these guys. So like,
even at a point where it was like Ross was for all intents and purposes, still kind of new. Like like MMG was literally a year after this.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember thinking like, Ross. I was like, damn, is Ross ready to put out artists? Yeah. But it's like he kind of had that vision, and it's just like that's what I love most about him putting together MMG. He was just a master self-promoter. Yeah. From like the press conferences and just the video rollouts and the commercials before the videos,
the announcements of the announcement.
Yeah, like I haven't seen anyone promote themselves like that and manipulate social media and just marketing like that. Yeah, I haven't seen someone do that since like I don't know, I can't remember. But I haven't seen anyone do it. But now who I see similarities in? DaBaby, the way DaBaby presents himself and the way he just like kind of curates his persona. I'm like, oh shit, I see a little bit of Ross in you. So like,
I see a little bit of Luda in him.
I mean, I think with the videos and how they look for sure. But as far as like being out here and being like, yo, I'm DaBaby, I'm the best rapper, and just the interviews and just the way they champion themselves, that's Rick Ross to a T. I haven't seen that in so long, and I love it.
Ross was a kingpin rapper at a time when that was really passé. Like, we hadn't heard that since the 90s.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this much, this is a hot take, sizzling take. Rick Ross is the best mafioso mobster rapper.
Absolutely.
Like, shout out to Wu-Tang, shout out to Nas, shout out to Cormega, all these guys who kind of paved the way for that. But Ross owned it. Yeah. Like, when I listen to Ross's music, I feel like, okay, like, this is some mafioso. Tony Soprano's right next to me. We listen to this shit. Like,
look at the covers.
Yeah, but I never got that vibe from, like, a Raekwon or, like, a Ghostface. But, like, Ross gives me that.
Yeah. Even just, like, thinking about the way that he enunciates words.
Yeah, I was about to, and we in the hotel suites and we eating crab meats. Yeah. Like, shit like that. It's like, damn, like, nigga, I want some crab meat. Like,
crab meats.
Yeah, like, it's just the way he just... The lifestyle he portrayed and the way he wrote, like, painted that picture, just, it made me buy in.
And it's exciting. And I think that really, like, his place in the Miami, like, is it safe to say, like, he might be the quintessential Miami rapper?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I think you can't, you always got to pay respects to Trick Daddy and the Lukes, but, like, he definitely was that guy for the level. 2000s and beyond.
So before, Deep in the Rap came out, Mafia Music came out. About 2 months before it, out of nowhere, he released this song, and it contained a diss at 50 Cent. And at the time, I remember this. No one caught the diss at all.
Well, the line was
can't wait. Pay our bills, can't wait to pay our rent. Curtis Jackson, baby mama.
Yeah, I remember. It's funny when that dropped. I remember being like, oh shit, okay, like. He definitely called out names. I don't even remember. I remember being like...
He called out Mayweather on the same song.
Yeah, as well. He kind of... And that's what made me think, because he's like the Mayweather money looking funny in the light.
Yeah.
It made me think that something just happened. Like, because Mayweather and 50 Cent were mad cool. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, like, something happened, and, like, Ross is taking it there.
But it was out of nowhere. And I think, like, to this day, like, nobody really knows what that was about. Like, do you have like an inkling or like a thought of like what
I mean, but 50 Cent was a bully, so maybe he said something behind the scenes, or maybe I don't know how that really started. I
tend to think, this is all speculation, that it was like 50's at the top of the mountain, or perceived to be at the top of the mountain. Yeah. I mean, we're a couple years removed from the Kanye 50 battle and all of that stuff, but like he's considered the top of the mountain for gangster rap. Yeah. Still, because I mean, T.I. was. He was a star at that point. Jay-Z's far removed. Diddy's far removed. Lil Wayne doesn't want it. Yeah. Like these are people that, they're on their own space. Russ is like, maybe if I knock him off, this will be it for me. Yeah. And it ends up being his riskiest move. Yeah, like nobody knows why. Like, why did, like, he played his hand there in a way where it's just like, even 50 was confused. Like, they asked 50, he was like, I don't know why he dissed me.
Hey, man, whatever it was, Ross was going in. Because then if you listen to the project, it's just like, it's so many Easter egg disses throughout the project. It's like, damn.
Even Tony Ayo's getting everybody. Like, everyone was getting killed off. And that led to a beef that really lasted for the whole year and into pretty much 2010. Yeah. But it's all over Deep in the Rap. But what actually intersected with this beef is the fact that the internet, they did just like Twitter did its thing. Yeah. At that point, there was a report that came out that revealed that Ross was a correctional officer. At the same time that this came out, it was like almost clockwork. It was like the narrative of the story is almost unbelievable when you talk about it to this day, because at this point there were murmurs of him being a cop at one point. He hushed them all.
I remember when I remember where I saw the photo. You want to know how deep my hip hop web browsing goes? I saw the photo on All Hip Hop Ill Seed. Remember that fucking gossip column?
It was like the weird ass picture with a guy with his eye closed and shit.
Whoever you are out there, man, it's probably Elliot Wilson. But yeah, man, I found out, dude. I seen the photo of Ill Seed. I'm like, damn, this nigga is really graduating from correctional school.
And it became the narrative, and that just gave 50 more of a chance to like hop on that, and it was like really 50, 50 was always hungry for beef, and at that time he was still positioned at Ja Rule and Fat Joe and Jadakiss. This 50 thing or this Ross thing came out of nowhere at that point, and it became all full on where it was like it kind of brought up another argument there with 50 Cent at the center of it, because of the first battle with Ja Rule was authenticity.
Yep.
The second battle with Kanye was, again, authenticity. The third battle with Ross is authenticity, but now we actually have proof that Ross
isn't authentic. Or is he?
Or is he? It's like...
I would say, shout out to motherfucking Rick Ross for the spin, because you spent this shit so special. Great.
The BET
special, just like... The BET special, epic. BET, you need to re-air that.
He said the truth. They asked him. I tried to find this on YouTube. I cannot find it. He said the truth is way more sinister,
bro.
The greatest line.
What a quote. Who wrote that? Who wrote Scorsese? Who wrote that fucking line? Shit was amazing, bro. Like literally, that's when I knew that like Rick Ross is here to stay. This project, because like just the way the story, like this was his time. He was like, yo, I got 2 albums out. Now I'm about to tell my story.
Yeah.
And the way he told it was just amazing. Like I remember there was an interview that came out around that time, and he was talking about they were talking about Rich Off Cocaine, the song on there. And literally he told the story. He was like, yeah, man, like I had some Tim boots. I took them to the Miami swap meet that was out there, and it was somebody, it was like not a graphic designer, but an airbrush guy that was just real popular on the streets out there. And he was like, what you want in your boots? Like, everybody get
it's
that
the
name.
Fader interview.
Yeah.
It's the Fader interview.
He was like, what you want in your boots? He was like, ROC.
Rich off cocaine. Then
amazing. Amazing.
Then he did this clap. He was like,
yeah, it was amazing. I'm like, yo. ROC, Rich Off Cocaine. Then you hear that song and you're like, yo, this song is fucking amazing. I'm on a boat right now. Doing the line.
And then it kind of like, it was almost like 50, because like there was nothing technically wrong that 50 was saying. Like everything he was saying was literally correct. But Ross literally didn't address any of it. He literally kept rapping, and that's all he did. It was like, who would have thought that the thing to battle 50 Cent with was just ignoring that and just rapping? Yeah, and I've never seen a battle so interesting where it was like literally you're fighting against someone that you're saying is fake, or like, but was like I feel as though like it was key to his survival at that point. It was like I don't even know who wrote this plan for him. Like he had to have the greatest marketing geniuses behind him at that point, because that became the narrative of the album. And this was an album that was, essentially his back against the wall, and it's like you said, he's telling his story. So just to go into the album, like the production, insanity. It starts off with Mafia music, leads into Maybach Music 2 from the Justice League with Kanye West, Lil Wayne, and that was another thing about the album is like he leveled up on this shit completely. Like Lil Wayne's on this shit, Kanye West on this shit. Like these people did not give a shit about what 50 Cent was saying or what the internet was saying.
No, it was dope. It was, it was dope about that too. Like Ross didn't play 50 Cent was like really shitting on him the way he shitted on everybody else. Yeah. And like Ross was just literally like, okay, like 50, you don't fuck with me. You don't fuck with a lot of people. Let me go fuck with all the people you don't fuck with.
Yes.
And like really show you what the fuck is going on over here.
Because he was throwing shots at Wayne at the time. Wayne's on the album.
Exactly.
Throwing shots at Kanye at the time. Kanye's on the album. He had a lot of shit to say about the South in general, and he really brought all of them together on this album. Even though there are a lot of features, it's really like Ross's show throughout the whole thing. Like he's front and center on all of these songs. I think really on what's the song where he addresses the CO thing? It's Valley of Death.
Yep.
When he says, "I'll shovel shit, I'll CO, so we can bow our head and pray over the meatloaf. I'm looking at the big picture, keep a bitch with you, trying to get a bit richer." It's one of the greatest. Like that to me is his greatest line. It's like he did what he had to do to survive. And what's more boss than that? What's more hustler than that? What's more hip hop than that?
That's what I'm saying. The spin was crazy. Like, even I remember on the BET, or this might have not even been in the BET special, but the way he was like, yo, like, I was a CEO for, like, my big homies. Like, they told me to take this job to, like, do some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, if you think about it in the context of that, that's like some real mob shit. That's like fucking, they got a whole movie on it, The Departed.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, like, who wrote this? I think Scorsese's involved in Rick Ross. I think
down to the bars, he was saying he was 15 with 3 kids. You know, he had to do something. Like, he was down and out. Like, there are so many gems on this album that kind of like go just to go back to Mafia music. He was talking about he was throwing tar up on the roof.
Yeah, bro. He like literally, it's funny. Like this, like I keep saying it, and I'm like, this was the album that Ross told us who he was.
Yeah,
and like this. It set the stage for the rest of his career because it's like the first 2 albums, they were great albums, they were cool albums, they were good albums.
Yeah.
But like this was the one that was like, yo, Rick Ross is here to stay.
And it's very lush. Like it's super like lush. It's parts of his life with very sensationalized parts of the life that he would want us to think he was living anyway. I think like the boss persona, and it's one of my favorite characters in hip hop. It's like the boss persona is, this is the same guy who's eating crab meats. This is literally the same guy who in the same song is like he's sitting on Deuce's new Land Cruisers.
Yeah, and that's the thing that killed me. Like that's the thing that like really drove it home for me is like it's not just lyrics, it's not just a look, it's not just a gimmick. This Boss thing was like, it was a sonic sound bed of this project. Like it sounded like Boss music. There's violins. Justice League, you guys did your thing on this project. Like,
shout out to them. Yeah, I really wanted to get them on the show.
Yeah, no, I just feel like the sound bed of this project was just so lush and like just luxurious. Like it made you buy into who he was. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know,
that's a huge part of whether you like Rick Ross or not, is if you buy into the image. If you don't like the image, if the CO thing turns you off, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the job. It's about how it makes you feel when you turn it on. I think in a lot of ways, like just to even go back to like why him and Nipsey like kind of meshed musically so well is because Nipsey gave you the West Coast life, but he put it over instrumentals and production that didn't even seem like it was universal to everything. Like the boss character was something that Nipsey also took on as well because it's universal to everything. Like everyone wants to be that. And I think Ross gave us that there where it was like not as constructed well enough as it was here. Like Port of Miami, it was like, all right, he kept saying it. Trilla was like, okay, he's now has a song saying that he is the boss. Yeah. Deeper Than Rap was literally
he drove it home. Yeah, so it's just that was a great fucking album for me. Like I just really was like a fan of that time and era, and it brought in a new sound. Like it just brought in like more instrumentation in hip hop. I feel like
even like instrumentation past Kanye West, because we never thought that like you weren't hearing at the time the game wasn't using those types of like lush instrumentals. Like he probably had one song with Just Blaze where they used like live instrumentation at the end of Doctor's Advocate, but this was the whole thing. Project, the whole project was this, which was crazy. We never heard it. Like that's why I think the legacy lies with Deeper Than Rap. I think this was the point in rap where it did not matter what you did and who you were. All that mattered was the music. I think it was the end of the authentic era.
Damn, that's a good way to put it.
It didn't last that long because like in 2003, we were all like, we had our G-Unit shit on. We were listening to Jadakiss. We were listening to all this shit. And we were like, you have to be real or I'm not listening to you. Ross was like, damn, you're conflicted now. Cause like, and I think a lot of it is like, it happens today with these younger rappers where it's like, they could be problematic as fuck. But it's like, are they authentic? No, it doesn't matter. We love the music.
Yeah, nah, that's true. I think the difference with Ross was that like he was living it. Yeah. Like that's the thing that kind of throws me off about a lot of rappers today. It's like they might say one thing, but they're not living it. It's almost with like Future. Like Future, one of my favorite rappers, one of my favorite artists will always be. But like the last project, after he came out, I was like, oh, I'm not doing drugs no more. You start to look at it in a different light. You're like, oh, shit, he's not living this shit. Yeah. And you kind of saw that he wasn't living it. And it's like, that's not a bad thing per se, but like just for who Future was and just the music he was making, Molly Percocet, like you wanted him to be you wanted to believe it. You wanted to be like, oh, shit, this nigga Future in rehab. Like, you kind of want to have, like, that's kind of what you're searching for when you're searching for authenticity. So, I mean.
But there was very little pushback there, too. Yeah. I think a lot of people were like, okay, we get it, because the music's tight. Like, if that album had not been well received and it was pretty much well received by everyone, it would have been like, they would have did this, like, they do this weird thing with, like, Eminem and Cudi, where it's like, I wish they would get back on the drugs.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like the weirdest thing you could ever say about somebody.
Terrible.
Like, it's terrible. It's like, no, like they've sold you on a concept.
Yep.
And it's like, if you buy into the concept, you'll always love them forever.
That's the crazy part about, like an Eminem or like a Cudi. Like, these motherfuckers are on drugs. They was making their best music when they were just like, I don't even know what to call that type of. But now that they're famous and have money, they're probably on crazier drugs. Yeah. So it's like, y'all hoping for the wrong thing. Y'all need to be hoping they get back on light drugs. Yeah. Smoke weed again or something.
Yeah, like, don't hope for your artist to, like, it's like Ross. We don't want Ross to be clipping cigars or clipping fingers in the little cigar cutter. Like, we don't want that shit. Like, we want him to rap about it, And I think that, like, Ross gave people the blueprint to the concept car of being a successful mafia rapper, or just being a successful rapper within your own terms and your own limits. Like, Ross didn't have to do all of these things. He didn't have to be showing off the bulletproof vest on stage. Yeah. All he needed to do was put on a velour, like a little silk shirt, with his shirt with it open, with the chains on and his chest out, and we still loved him for that. Like, it was dope for that. Like, there's a song up there called Yacht Club, where he says he's the fat Tommy Lee. He made out with like 8 broads. And that line pops me every time because it's like, yo, I could see him, like, I feel like I'm right next on the yacht looking at that shit and be like, yo, that's green as fuck. Like, that's really
that's what
nasty.
I'm saying. The visuals, like, the way he, like, you could visualize everything that he was saying. Yeah. And, like, that's the thing that, like, that's why I go back to him being, like, he is the king of this mafioso rap. Because, like, he literally spit bars and I saw it. I saw him in the, on the yacht. I saw a magazine in the corner, like, singing his reggae vibes. Like, I just see it, and it's like, there hasn't been too many rappers to do that. And just the way he did it and owned it, and then you saw him out in public, and you saw him on stage, and like, oh, shit, you do look like a fucking mafia boss. Right. Like, shit was just, it was iconic, man. Like, shout out to the whole team that put that together. Shout out to Shakir Stewart. Yes. R.I.P. Shakir Stewart, actually. Like, he was instrumental in Ross and Jeezy, honestly. Yeah.
He passed right before this album came out.
Okay. Yeah. And that's like like that's one of the GOAT A&Rs. Like, he really kind of like, listen to this album. Like, he really put his stamp on it. Listen to the Jeezy album. Like, he put his stamp on it and really helped bring that to life. So shout out to him.
He was like one of the first like superstar A&Rs at the time too. I think a lot of people who are like popping A&Rs now, like, they use that mold as well. Like, that's the concept of what it is. And I think that Ross is a huge example of someone who, for all intents and purposes, should have, quote unquote, lost.
Yeah, man. Ross shouldn't have made it past that photo. Yeah. Seriously, because he was looking wild. The whole CEO outfit with his, like, gut and, like, a little fupa hanging over. I'm like, damn, bro.
That's why I say, like, this is like a movie. Like, this is literally, like, and he did not, you didn't even see him sweat. Like, you didn't see him do anything. He was like, yo, like, I'm good. Like, we're going to handle this. We're going to put the album out. And he actually says it on one interview. He was like, I'm going to let the music speak for itself. Yeah. It was almost like a boxer talking, like, I'm going to let what I do in the ring speak for itself. And really, that's where it came to. And so, Deep in the Rap, I think, is an essential album for anyone listening to this podcast. Listen to it this month, listen to it next month, listen to it all summer. I listen to this usually around March, April, May. I think the music kind of... Then I move on to like Teflon Don, which is coming up on 10 years next year. That's going to be 10 years next year, which is insane. But that's a classic album.
I have a question for you. What was your least favorite song on that album?
On Deep in the Rap?
Yeah. I got mine.
Face.
Wow, this is mine too.
Yeah, Face.
That shit felt so out of place on the record. Like, sonically, that was the one that didn't make the most sense. But it had Trina on it, kind of paying homage to just the 305 and not just like, the slip and slide days. So I think
where it comes, it's right before his two most introspective songs too, where it's like that. I feel like it could have fit on Trilla. Like, that's the one where it's like if I'm listening to it, I'll probably skip right past it. But it's like, if it comes on just on a random, like on a shuffle, I won't skip past it. It's just it's also a really vulgar song. Like Ross has a penchant for being very, very, very vulgar, and that's like, the album isn't too vulgar until you get to that part of the fucking album. But that's probably like the song I'm not going back to. But I mean, I still think that Deep in the Rap is my favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite Ross album. I'll say that.
No, it's up there. I think I'm trying to think of what would be my second.
I think it's Deep in the Rap is my favorite. Trilla is really up there for me. I think Maybach Music Part 1 is like undeniable.
I really, you know what? Teflon Don, that was the one where I was like, okay, Rick Ross.
Yeah.
Because that energy of that album,
that
like
summer.
that was the Lex Luger summer.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many records from that album, and then just like the records around it, the freestyles he dropped. That's when he started.
Albert Anastasia.
Yeah, like. Man, speaking of Birdman earlier, hiatus. Yo, the H, that mixtape with Birdman and Rick Ross, amazing.
He put out a lot of projects and mixtapes in between albums at that time
to keep shit going. Like
I would say that he started that shit too.
I mean, but who did he get it from? 50 Cent.
Yeah,
like literally, like it was just the blueprint that he just like he applied all the lessons he saw and just put it all together.
He's a student of the game.
Without a doubt. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's why we got to appreciate Rick Ross more, because he literally is a student of the game. Like, there's not too many rappers who, like, really study this shit and really appreciate this culture. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people just like, oh, this is a quick money thing. But, like, Ross really appreciated the culture of it. Because
who else would go back to Toomp or DJ Premier or show respect to Raekwon?
I mean, even you look at Deeper the Rap, like, you look
Nas
at... Nas
is on it.
Yeah, Nas is on it. Foxy Brown is on it. Like, those are, like... That wasn't a go-to feature at the time.
Yeah.
Is Jay-Z on it too?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's on the next album. He's on the next album. Yes. It's the one he wasn't on.
He has songs with Nas and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
At a time when they were still like kind of beefing. So it's like, I don't know. Like I just always appreciated the way not Nas, but Rick Ross came at the game, because you could tell that he studied everything that was going on.
And I think he was
adding his layers.
And on Usual Suspects, a song on Deep in the Rap, he lightweight was hanging with Nas. Like it was,
bro.
Like I was like, when I first heard it, I was like, yo, is Ross an elite rapper here? Like,
I mean, now looking back, Ross is an elite rapper.
Yeah.
Like that was him proving himself.
Yeah.
Like, he went toe-to-toe with Nas. Like, even the joint with fucking Foxy, Murder Mommy's, like, he was barring up on there.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I always liked the way Ross approached the game. I always liked the way he approached music, because he really, like, he wasn't just... This wasn't a quick buck to him.
Yeah.
He really appreciated this shit.
True student of the game. Shout out to Rick Ross. Shout out to Deep in the Rap once again. Listen to the album. It's on every streaming service right now. Buy it. I have like 2 copies of the album. It's the actual inside booklet is classic photos. I think Jonathan Mannion did those too.
Yeah.
So like, which is again student of the game. Like he framed MMG after Rockefeller. Like clearly, like that's what he had. He had his Beanie Siegel. He had his Kanye and Wale. Like that's where he framed everything from. And shout out to Rick Ross. Once again, this is the episode.
Oh, man.
This has been RNC Radio.
We back.
Next month, I guess we can reveal the next 2 months of shows we'll be doing. Next month, we'll be doing The Diplomats, just talking about the summer of 2004 of The Diplomats.
I remember that summer very vividly.
Very, very, very crazy.
I'll tell you guys why I remember that summer on that episode.
So we'll be talking about, once again, like the concept and the story behind it and how it kind of affected Josh and Josh's life and mine as well. And then in June... This will be the heat of the summer. We're going to do Cash Money, the Cash Money collection.
Man.
We're going to talk about some of our favorite Cash Money things. In lieu of Cash Money's whole, pretty much their whole catalog being on streaming now, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, that episode I'm actually just going to be, it's going to be like, hour and 30 minutes of me just reciting every single line from Baller Blocking. I know that movie by heart, so it'll just be me just reciting every character's line.
We should watch the movie in preparation for that.
We should. Honestly,
or you should be on late fees. Fuck it.
Y'all want to do that? Because literally...
You could be on late fees.
Bro, you don't understand. There's so many Easter eggs in that film. This is going to be your best episode yet.
Well, let's like pencil that in. Josh P's on late fees in June. We'll have a Cash Money episode in June. It's gonna be fucking spectacular. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at RNC Radio Live. We have so many playlists this week. We had the reggaeton playlist from our homeboy Brian. He did that for us last week. We have the Something in the Water playlist that just dropped a couple of days ago for the Something in the Water Festival. As of this recording, it's gonna be going on tomorrow in Virginia. Really bummed out I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah, no, I was trying to slide out there too. This is big for.
Is it Masego? He's gonna.
Yeah, Masego's on the stage. That's the only artist we got out there, but that's gonna be huge just for Virginia, and just like I hope that they keep it going.
They're doing everything.
Yeah, I think Puma did the celebrity basketball game today, so it's like that's a vibe. Like Virginia needed that, and I think. Shout out to Pharrell, because it literally is something in the water.
Yeah,
a lot of talent came out of there, and I'm glad somebody's paying attention.
Including yours truly. You feel me? One of the, I was talking to Cam. Shout out to Cam the other day. He said, I'm going to Miami in a couple weeks to the Association of Black Journalists convention. I was like, why the fuck wasn't I called?
Man, that. What the fuck is that?
If I see Elliott Wilson on the bill, bruh.
Is that Elliott Wilson and Stephen A. just having a powwow?
That's what I'm saying,
lunch?
bro. Elliott, what's up? I'm gonna keep trolling Elliott because I know he listens to this shit. I'm gonna keep trolling Elliott every single episode until he's either on this show or we on Tidal. What's up?
You're gonna be my Matt Damon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Elliott couldn't make it this week, but we have that playlist. We also have the Warmth playlist curated by All Things Dante and Mills. As always, we also have shows like Late Fees and the A Show and stuff like that. You can follow our Twitter to get more information on those. Until next month, Josh, thank you for being on the show.
Nah, thank you for coming by, man.
Like we're both guests to everything here. Until next time, I'm glad to be back. RNC Radio podcast is back. We're on point here. Thank you for listening. Send us, any type of feedback or shit like that.
Yeah, I like talking to the people, man.
They've been waiting for you to come back.
Honestly, no, hey, holla at me, man. Josh and Peas on all socials. I'm here. My DMs are open. Ciao.
Don't tell me your DMs are open. They'll be sending you some crazy shit. They'll be asking you for free ain't shit funny gear. You'll send them the link.
Dog, ain'tshitfunny.com is never closed. I sold a shirt last week that I don't even have.
How did you do that?
I don't know, man. It's still up on the site. It's sold. Orlando, you'll be getting a refund soon.
Shout out to Orlando and shout out to you guys. Until next month for RNC Radio Podcast. Peace out.